Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Mark here, Bet on Vets. So I have a lot of different videos on my interior build on my C5Z. I thought I'd do, now that I'm pretty much wrapping it up, a quick overall of everything I've done. In the description below, I will include a list of all the vendors I used and parts you'll need if you want to mimic this build. Make it a little easier for you guys, and a quick overview so you know exactly what I did and see if you like it or not. I'm really happy with the results. And I feel like most of you guys are really supportive and like what I did too. So the interior is about wrapped up on this build. Next will be suspension. So I'm gonna stop talking and take you out to the garage and we'll go through what I did. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and start on the passenger side of the vehicle. I'm gonna do this in no particular order, but I will address every mod I've done to the interior. And I'm 98% done. The only mod I'm not gonna be filming is the visors up here. I'm gonna replace those. I don't like the material, but that's kind of boring, so I'm not even gonna worry about waiting on those to come in. Now, a couple of things were already done to the interior before I got it. That being this red inserts right here. These red inserts were already there. I don't mind them, so I kept them there. And the red and black shift boot. That's the only thing that came in this car that I kept, that I did not alter on the interior. Minus the mod red interior, which was a factory option for the Z06. All right, now starting over here on the passenger side, I did get rid of the floor mats with the Corvette logo. I like a much cleaner look. No real reason for it. I just like a nice blank footwell. It kind of takes away from the lighting I did. Let me turn this down so you can see it. I think it looks really good. I'm really happy with that. The seats are amazing. I did a review on these, or did an install on these a week or two ago. They turned out great. I'm still loving them very, very much. They look a lot more expensive than what they are. I spent $330. I sold my old seats for $500, so I actually made about 150 bucks on the seats themselves. Now keep in mind, my seats, my OEM seats, were in really good condition, so I'm not sure what you would get for your seats. So don't assume you're gonna get 500 bucks for your seats. All right, I think that's all there is to show you over here on this side. Let's go ahead and hop over to the driver's side. Oh, also my backup camera. This guy is roughly 20 bucks, and it's also on my install for the head unit video. You can find that on my channel. That was relatively easy to install, and that also goes with the interior aesthetic, well, safety too, when you're backing up. Total game changer having a backup camera in any car. All right, over here there's a few more items I can point out to you. Now, this being a 2001 Z06, it did not come with the heads-up display. So I had to do one myself. And I'll zoom in here so you can see it. But this cost me roughly $120 to get the heads-up display unit, the switch, and the little bezel that fits right up there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there. I got a video on that install. If you're curious, I'm doing an install on your C5. It does not have a HUD. It was actually much easier than I anticipated. It looks harder than it is, but don't let that deter you from doing it if you want a HUD in your C5 Corvette. All right, coming down here. Now, in the footwell, probably noticed that my clutch pedal is much further in. That's because this has the PAC master cylinder, which I highly recommend. And that goes for about $300. The throw is very short. You get used to it. It takes quite a bit of pressure to push it. Probably about 120 pound clutch if I had to guess. Very heavy, but it's also very, very precise. And it always comes back up. It never falls on you. Highly recommend a PAC master cylinder for your clutch. Now coming over here, you'll see the Joing 8.8 inch 1.5 DIN head unit. Now, as far as I know, it's the only one on the head unit market that'll fit the stock bezel. Now, I went ahead and trimmed mine out to fit the whole screen how it should be right out of the box. You can root it. Rooting simply means you're kind of hacking the software and allowing applications to make changes to the firmware which affect the screen size. I probably really dick that up explaining it, but it's something to that effect. I wanted to capitalize on the whole screen, so I went ahead and just routed all the way around, and it looks pretty good. I went ahead and paint matched the entire thing, so you can't really tell where I filled in with plastic filler, etc. It looks really sharp, and people really like it. Now here, my shifter. This is a hurst shifter with the, I think this is a mod red option from the factory, the red and the black. I am not sure. Tell me in the comments if it is or not, 'cause I really don't know. And it's got a, I sawed off about 3/4 inch and put the C6 style shift knob on top. You do have to buy this special for the C5. You can't just put a C6 knob on the C5. It has to be a certain one with a 3D printed inside that kind of twists on the metal dowel rod or shift knob or shift piece, if you will, and it's on there really well. I put a little bit of Loctite in there just to make sure it's not going to go anywhere, and I really like the feel of it. A lot of times people do the C6 shift knob and it's way too long. It's like up here and it looks kind of goofy. Not a huge fan of that, but I like the hurst setup. 3/4 cut off with the C6 knob. It feels really good in the hand, really sturdy. And if you come back over here, you see this little guy. This is a, not a Bluetooth, but a wireless volume control for my stereo. Because before, to change the volume, you had to come up here, especially when you're driving traffic. It's kind of a pain in the ass. And click up there, you gotta do this. And sometimes you're not paying attention, you're not looking right, you can really fuck it up and piss you off. But this right here, when you're traveling, especially cruising on the highway, your hand naturally sits right there. You can adjust your volume. And you can, there's more buttons in the middle here, which you can make it do other things, which I haven't gotten around to yet. I'm not too worried about it. But the option is there if I want to do that. All right, another thing up here is my carbon steering wheel. I love this thing. This thing probably has the biggest impact on the feel of the interior. After I did this, it totally transformed the entire car. It was kind of insane how much a steering wheel can make the feel of your interior. It just, not only does it make it feel a lot more premium quality, it feels a lot more race inspiring, not just because it has a little notch on there, just the meaty feel to it. It feels so much better, so much better. And this with the seats, it doesn't even feel like a C5 Corvette anymore. I don't know what it feels like, but it feels like something a lot more expensive. And I really like this trifecta with the shifter, wheel, and the seats. Pretty cool. Really like, I think that's everything. And everything I'm listing, I'll put in the description with prices on it, so you can know what to spend if you're trying to do the same kind of setup. And if you notice in the back here, the LEDs in the trunk, you make the trunk look a lot better, a lot more high quality, if you will. So those little LEDs, $10 mod, freaking amazing. So easy to do. Highly recommend doing that. So that's a quick little tour of my C5 interior. I'm just about done. Last thing I'm going to do, like I said, is swap these out because they just feel kind of cheap, and I'll get something else. I don't know what, but something a little better. Next on the list is suspension upgrades, so stay tuned for a whole bunch of suspension stuff coming your way. This may be my last video for like 10 days. I'm going on a work trip next week on a carrier. Sounds a lot cooler than it is. I didn't post for a little bit. I didn't quit YouTube. I'm just working, doing my actual job for a little bit. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Any questions, I will try to answer them as best as I can, to the best of my ability. Get you vendor information and pricing as well. This setup, I think, was probably one of the best setups I've seen. I'm not just saying that because it's my Corvette. It definitely makes your C5 feel a lot more Corvette-like, if you know what I mean. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll catch you guys next time. Later.